Hey y'all, welcome to our 7th episode of Unlocking Saints, where we talk about one saint each week and unlock the message they've got for us. Our saint for today is Saint Monica. Monica is known for her patience. This, along with her long years of prayer, led to the conversion of her husband and her son, Augustine. Monica was born in North Africa. She was the eldest among her two sisters and was raised in a strict, disciplined home. When she grew up, she got married to Patricius. He was a pagan with a violent temper. Her mother-in-law, also a pagan, always sided with her son and was against her. She told lies about Monica and insulted her. Ironically, other wives with issues in their marriage would come to Monica for help and advice. And even though Monica herself went through a lot, she would tell them to trust in God, that with consistent prayer, faith, and patience, everything would be okay. Because Monica remained meek, humble, and dedicated to God in prayer, her husband's heart was changed, and because of this, a year before he died, he got baptized. Monica had 3 children, the eldest being Augustine. Monica always spoke about God's love to her children. Apart from taking care of her children, she vowed to holiness, and also took care of the poor and orphaned. Monica was very worried about her son Augustine. He was brilliant and gifted, but he chose to reject the faith. He lived a very unholy life, so she refused to let him stay in her home. Augustine then lived with another woman, with whom he had a son, but they were not married. Just as Monica had thoughts to disown her son, she had a dream that he would one day come back to the faith. She then prayed fervently for Augustine and shed many tears for his conversion. She also fasted by making Holy Communion her daily food. She was persistent in this for 17 years. One day, Augustine traveled to Milan. When he reached there, he met with Bishop Ambrose, as we know today as Saint Ambrose. Augustine loved this bishop so much that he would hear him preach every Sunday. When Monica found out Augustine had gone to Milan, she too went there, and she too met with Bishop Ambrose on arrival. Monica immediately became a true disciple to Bishop Ambrose, and he admired her for her pious ways of life. Being in the same place, Monica and Augustine would go for Mass together and also discuss the sermons after it. Monica decided to study further and dive deeper into theology. This was so she could help her son, as he was going through a difficult and confusing period in his life. He wanted to believe in the truths of the church, but found it difficult to do so, and also very hard to give up the things of the flesh, so he asked God to convert his heart. One day, when he went to a garden to deeply reflect on his life, he heard a voice to read scripture. It was from St. Paul's letter to the Romans, which said, "Make no provision for the flesh to gratify its desires." These words struck his heart, and from that day on his life changed. He went and told Monica what he had experienced, which brought her great joy and gratitude to God. He was then baptized by Saint Ambrose. Monica found content in her heart and an accomplishment of purpose in her life. On the day that Monica was on her deathbed, Augustine asked her if she would like to go back and be buried along with her husband. Her response was, "I am happy to be buried wherever I die, for nothing is far from God." 2 weeks later, she died at the age of 56. She cried, she prayed, she fasted, which helped bring about St. Augustine's conversion. It is only just that their feasts are celebrated one after another. Hence, we celebrate her feast on August 27th and St. Augustine on August 28th. So, our unlock for today's saint is, as we learn from our wonderful Saint Monica, that persistence in prayer can answer any desire as long as that desire is for good. God will grant it for you when the time is right. For Monica, the time was right after 17 years of fervent prayer, fasting, and patience. Now that's a long, long time. Most of us can't even wait 17 days before we give up on God. For some, even 17 hours may seem a bit much. But Monica taught us some very important things. 1. That even if you're around people that insult you and treat you badly, you can still choose to pray for them, and they will come around because of your faith in God. No matter who they are or how bad they may be, it is God who is the miracle worker, and He is capable of changing anyone to be good. 2. God has His own timing, and we know His timing is best, even though it may seem exceedingly long for us. We've seen through Monica's unceasing prayer and patience, 17 years later, she received her miracle. She received the desire of her heart. 17 years may seem too long for most of us, but it produced two amazing saints for our church today. The longer the Lord makes you wait, the bigger the miracle will be. Put your hands together today and pray for the good desires of your heart. And then do it again tomorrow. And then the day after that. And after that too. And don't stop till He gives it to you. Because if the desire is good, then it will be yours. May your fervent prayers reach up to God. And through His admiration for your dedication, may He unlock the saint in you.